Live from the Shooting from the Lip studio in Louisville, Kentucky, it's time for Lip Service with your hosts, Kevin Hale and Russ Hinkle.
What is up, everybody? Kevin Hale up in this house, the Shooting from the Lip studio here in Louisville, Kentucky. Did you get that, Russ? Russ, I guess I'd turn on his mic. What up, playa?
Oh, not a whole lot. I'm just hobbling along here.
Yeah. It's been how long since the knee was repaired?
A little less than a month. I had it done on the 14th of the last month, so a few more days, it'll be 4 weeks.
Are you able to put any weight on it? Are you walking?
Oh yeah, I'm like they just kind of released me to kind of wean off of the crutches, hobbling around kind of slow. I would have been a little bit further along, but I've had the surgery caused me to have a couple of gout attacks, and the gout attacks have been kind of coming and going, and so yeah, that kind of slowed my progress down a little.
Coming and gouting, like that.
Oh yeah.
Hello? Oh yeah. How are you still milking it for all it's worth? I mean, is Mallory being a good subservient to you, or even your
real good
daughter?
Yeah, she was. Yeah, they were pretty helpful, pretty good for a while. I think Mallory grew a little bit tired of it
for the first week or so. Yeah.
Yeah. She got a little worn out on it, but we made it work.
All right, here we are on this Monday night, July 11th, 2016. It is what I've rebranded the show as, taking a little tongue-in-cheek off the name. Monday nights are officially known as Lip Service, and actually that's very fitting with us, Russ. I think you and I together provide good lip service. Social media. You can follow us on Twitter at The Shooting Lip, at Reality Rust, at Kevin Hale 423. We're also on Facebook and Instagram, Shooting from the Lip. Like us on those two apps, and you can subscribe to our shows on iTunes and YouTube.
I said, I actually want to get onto that Twitter account. I downloaded the app, but I couldn't figure out how to log on.
Oh, you mean to blurt the info over the air or do that offline?
Yeah, you can do that offline. I don't want to get hacked.
All right. We've got a very solid show tonight, Russ. First segment, Jake Badger and Milford Hale. Yes, Hale is related to yours truly. He is my first cousin. They are both Indiana law enforcement people. They're cool. They coming on. We're going to talk all the drama, if you will, that has happened over the last week, and get their perspective, with the real world, the big picture. And obviously there is a divide amongst the people of the U.S., and we're going to get their perspective on that. Second segment, I've got Miss Judy, who is the bartender at Bistro 42 in Prospect, and Shannon Moert, who is with TalkSmack Promotions, are going to be on the second segment to talk Bistro 42, to talk music and what's up with the whole vibe locally, promoting the Bistro 42 thing. And then one of our favorites, she's been on before, Russ, I think a couple times with you, Elizabeth Myers, food writer, eater for Louisville Noms. She's going to join us for some conversation to close out the show. No county line segment tonight, but we will be promoting the gigs later in the show. But first up, don't go into a lot of heavy detail, but I think I'll just blurt it out. I think if you have a true pulse for the United States, if you have a caring bone in your body, you were sad last week at the unfortunate situations of the people involved in the deaths at the hands of the police officers that got all this attention. And of course, the officers who lost their lives in Dallas on the the ambush. What's your take, real quick, on how all that shit played out last week?
Honestly, Kevin, I've read and watched and I've had my finger on the pulse of it, but it's like I'm almost keeping myself almost emotionally, uninvolved in it, because it's just so. I mean, it's just there's so much going on with the emotions of it. The looking at your country, seeing seeing a big problem, a really big problem on how people are reacting and how people are choosing to let their feelings out on the issue, and I just feel like it needs to be handled in a more intellectual way, and people are just absolutely and I understand. I mean, that's why I've kind of kept my emotions at bay. I can understand in some if you were one of the and it's we have to keep in mind it's very small numbers that this is happening to, but with the internet and Facebook and things of this nature, I mean, it feels like it's right in your living room. I mean, every time you get on your phone or on your computer and start scrolling down, you see all these videos, you see all this stuff, and it's like it exacerbates the problem. What it does is it exacerbates the problem, and people without perspective, that's what we have. What we're missing in all of it. This would be my final takeaway. What we're missing in all of it is perspective. And I think on both sides. I think
that's fair. In our first segment, we'll be hearing, from one side, and I'm looking forward to that. Just to add to it, I did see that President Obama and former President George W. Bush are going to be speaking at Dallas at the memorial tomorrow, which is obviously will be a heavy day tomorrow. But one of the other big deals that happened, actually was, it got national attention, but it's really kind of in our backyard, Russ. Mm-hmm. The Ark. The Ark.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Oh, God. You don't believe in it, but you say him. How convenient. What'd you think of that?
Oh, it's just absolute silliness. In thinking about it, and I read an article on that if they would just, this guy was talking about, they got these books of, crazy places to visit in the United States, like the world's biggest ball of yarn. We've heard from the Chevy Chase Lampoon's Vacation, the world's biggest rubber band ball, just stuff like that. If they would have built the thing and not spent that amount of money on it and turned it into, hey, what we think, what the Bible says Noah's Ark would have looked like, and not turned it into this big,
there was
school.
Yeah. Did you know there's actually dinosaurs in there?
Oh yeah, it's just it is a mockery of itself. I mean, the thing. There's a plaque when you walk in. It was funny. They posted on one of the Facebook groups that I'm in. It said, "If I can," and it had a snake wrapped around the plaque, talking like it was a devil or something, saying, "If I could convince you that the flood wasn't real, I could convince you that heaven and hell isn't real." And it's like, well, yeah, there's some truth to that. And guess what? No reasonable person thinks that the flood was real. Sorry, fundamentalist Christians, if there's any listening. Even normal Christians don't believe that the Noah's Ark thing is real. Even you could poll, you could go to a nearest church around here and poll people coming out of the church, and maybe they changed their tune then. But if you poll people at the mall and ask them if they're a Christian, and hey, do you believe in the Noah's Ark story? They're like, no, that was just a kind of an Old Testament fable. I mean, it's just a walking. It's just a life-size joke. I mean, it's one big joke. Honestly, I think they're going to go bankrupt. I honestly think they're going to go bankrupt.
Yeah, that's a story. We'll see how that plays out. But here's my last quick little first take before we go to our first segment, Russ. Henry Heimlich. Do you know that name?
Is he famous for grabbing people in a bear hug and squeezing their abdomens till food flies out?
Exactly. That is where we get the name, the Heimlich maneuver, where he reaches his arms, around, to help someone who's choking. Guess what? Right. The guy created this life-saving maneuver in 1974. Did you realize? Yeah, in 74. Did you realize that at the end of May of this year, at the age of 96, he finally got to use that maneuver on someone who was choking?
Really?
Yeah. How fucking funny is that? If you want, see, nowhere on this planet, I guarantee at 10:13 Monday night will you get the info that Henry Heimlich first was able to use that maneuver, his own maneuver, on someone who's choking.
That's pretty interesting. I had not seen that on Facebook. You would have thought that would have. What would they do? He was somewhere and somebody started choking, or
somebody started choking. Yeah, something. I think it was actually steak. It was some lady. Anyways, Russ. Take that, Anderson Cooper, Bill O'Reilly, Kevin Hale just coughed that info up for everyone tonight.
You just scooped him on. You got the Heimlich scoop, huh?
The Hale Heimlich scoop. Speaking of Hale, which seems to be a very popular name for tonight's show, Russ, because finally there's two Hales on a show. I would like to welcome my first cousin, Milford Hale, who is an Indiana law enforcement officer. Milford, what's up, man?
How you doing tonight?
Good. Russ,
Good.
Milford, you've been a law enforcement officer for
20
years. Yeah, you're closer to retiring now, correct?
Actually, I could retire if I wanted today, so.
We'll throw that in our face.
Seems like now's the time to do it in light of recent events.
It's funny, as I joked before the show, it's Milford and I haven't spoken in a while. It's like, to actually speak to him means to get him on the show. That's, and of course he throws it back in my face, but I'd probably ask for that. Also joining us tonight is one of our favorite area musicians with the band Wildwood, Jake Badger, drummer. But tonight he's putting down the sticks. We're talking day job here. He's part of the Indiana law enforcement too. Jake, what's up, man?
What's going on?
Hey.
Hopefully he's putting down the black nightstick too. We don't even want to do that in this conversation.
Every stick. Well, no, guys, welcome to the show. Russ and I, we like to, our show is probably some tongue-in-cheek, and, there are times when I think a topic, a segment can be more serious than not. And to me, this was an opportunity to have a serious segment. What's gone on in the last week from a national perspective, how the media has played out. Granted, in the big picture, it's been going on for a while. Milford, I'm going to ask you first, since you got seniority here over Jake. Jake's
all right.
A little 20-some-year-old dude, but he can play the drums too. Milford, you've been in there in the game 20 years. What went down the last week from a professional perspective? What was your mindset? How did you, what was your reaction to seeing this all play out?
Well,
from the media perspective. Then I want because the way the media shows it, I know it doesn't do you guys any favors. But how the media played it out, what was your mindset?
Well, the media plays everything out to their advantage. So if you look at the media side of it, it looked like the police officer murdered both of them. And we don't know that for a fact yet, just like with the Officer Darrell Wilson from Ferguson, Missouri. They said he murdered that guy in cold blood, and it turns out he did not. So the best I guess anybody could do is just wait for the facts to come out through the Department of Justice investigation and see what happens. But you can watch the video in slow motion. You can see, I'm talking about the shooting in Louisiana. He was struggling with the officers. He almost sat up at one point. The officer busted his head against the car. He was bleeding. They were fighting with him. So he was actively resisting arrest. And he had a gun in his pocket. First of all, he's a convicted felon, should never had a gun on him. That's the first mistake he made. So the Minnesota shooting, I don't know too much about because they haven't released body cam footage or too much from that. So I won't go into that subject too much.
Right. Let me, Jake, bring you in. Your perspective from a professional standpoint when it all played out on TV.
Yeah, pretty much the same thing that he said. Media plays everything to their advantage. I mean, you have, in a world where everything is recorded now, I mean, you're gonna have one story, one side of the story that's gonna be out, within 10 minutes of the incident before anybody looks into the facts or even knows what the hell's going on. You have this stuff over Facebook or Twitter or whatever, and just like with Ferguson, the story that we were initially told wasn't even close to the truth after the investigation was complete. So anytime I see these videos, I try not to make, I kind of look at it and be like, oh, well, that looks a little iffy, but let's see what happens, once more information comes out. Because you can't trust the media anymore. They just want to sell a story. That's what their job is. They're not worried about who it's going to affect or what the outcome is going to be.
Now I'm gonna throw this at Russ first, and then I'll get you guys to respond too. Russ, the media paints somewhat of a cultural fear of young black men who fear/dislike the police, but they also paint the police as having this fear/resentment, whatever, issues with young black men. Russ, from your perspective, what's your take on how the media does play that out?
Well, I think it's got a lot to do probably with some of the areas these people are in. I mean, if and again, you've seen videos where they've been on Facebook where they've been pulled over in more affluent areas and stuff. But I mean, if you're, let's face it, if you're in the west end of Louisville, and it really isn't going to matter in a city like Louisville if it's a black person or a white person. But if you're in the west end of Louisville and you pull over a 1988 Cutlass Supreme, somebody you got a profile. If you're an officer in any position, you have to profile a little bit, and you see there's loud music coming out, the windows are tinted. You're gonna be more alert and alarmed but where it probably goes a little bit south is when people start using their own preconceived notions, or you got a guy that's a little too nervous to be doing right there, or a guy with an ego. I mean, there's like they say, there's good and bad.
You're talking fear and ego from the cop's perspective.
Yeah, from the cop's perspective.
Right.
So okay. Yeah, I mean, you're gonna. I mean, there's no question you're gonna. In certain circumstances with certain profiles, race is definitely going to be involved in some of them. But I think socioeconomic status is going to be involved, and it just so happens, that a lot, and especially in these bigger cities, you have a high demographic of African Americans that are in a lower socioeconomic status. But I can guarantee you, like I said, if you pull over a white guy in that same exact situation in a bad neighborhood where there's meth, there's drugs, and he's fitting his vehicle and some of the signs are fitting the profile, you can guarantee it's going to be the same thing. But I mean, I think where the numbers get a little bit skewed is where African Americans represent about 13 to 14% of the population, and it's happening at a rate a little bit higher at about 20%, throughout the nation. So they're calling that, there's a bias there, but there probably definitely is some bias. They leave a lot out, and I think it's going to be a socioeconomic bias. I mean, if you're in a poor neighborhood, if you're in the projects, and there's some things that meet all the signs of, hey, there could be something wrong going on here, then you're going to be a little more on edge. Where the problem comes in, where you have the bad eggs, and that's where I'd really like to get into a discussion, is to figure out how, because let's face it, from what we know, and I'm not on the inside there, but we can all kind of understand that police are a brotherhood. The Fraternal Order of Police. It's kind of a brotherhood or fraternity. They got each other's backs, and that's understandable. But I think what's going to come out of this is there's going to be, they're going to start having the officers, look for signs of people who are, either really nervous guys, really hothead guys, guys that have too much of an ego. They're going to have to start, kind of self-policing and finding some of these, the smaller element of guys that just are not well suited for the job. And that's good stuff there. And I'm gonna go back to Milford. Milford had the Minnesota shooting, which it played out on Facebook, and obviously it picked up after he was shot. But you can clearly hear the officers make some comment or saying that I told him to, or he said I told him to, I don't know what, do something, and then the girlfriend said, no, you didn't. You said you wanted to see his ID. Is this, and not, when I looked at that video, and I'm thinking, I don't see per se a bad cop. I think I saw a nervous cop, a cop that when, is Russ pointed out, you're pulling someone over, and it's a young black male, and the word gun comes up. You're already, because one thing I did too, Jake and Milford, before I watched this or came onto the show, someone had sent a video clip of officers being in the line of fire, walk up to a car, and all of a sudden, in a split second, being fired upon. So I'm thinking, good Lord, I mean, from that perspective, yeah, I mean, we're talking milliseconds before a cop can react. And then when you got a guy who acknowledges he has a gun, Milford, doesn't that put the cop right away in
or your alert level should have went up. And
exactly.
What I noticed about the video is he was a Hispanic police officer that shot the black guy, correct?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, so he was a Hispanic one, so they can't say it was a white officer that shot him.
Okay, yeah.
And she didn't start taping till after he was shot. Did you see her doing first aid on her boyfriend or her husband or whoever it was to her?
Yeah.
She was more concerned about taping it and then helping her, the male that was shot. And I didn't understand that part, but that's her own problem. Yeah, but it's, we could sit here and talk for hours about, well, what if you did this? What if you do that? Different people around the country train different ways. If I know they have a gun, I like to get them out of the car. So if they tell me they have a gun, I have them put their hands up. I grab hold of them, take them out of the car, secure their hands in handcuffs, take the gun out, make sure it's not stolen, make sure they have a concealed weapons permit, and then we go from there. But that's the way I do it. Other officers do totally different things. So I can't comment on his training or what his department procedures are about that incident. But, you look at the video, she was more concerned about putting it on Facebook than she was about giving them first aid. And that's alarming to me.
Yeah, I'm with you there because
absolutely,
without sounding cold, it was like, are we just witnessing some, Hallmark, some made-for-TV show here, some reality show,
right.
Jake?
It's the police officer after he, he shot the suspect. He was saying, I told him he just went through a traumatic experience. Mm-hmm. none of us go to work any night during our careers and say, I'm going to shoot somebody tonight. No one does that. No one at home that has a weapon says, I hope someone breaks in my house tonight so I can shoot them. Who does that? Nobody with any common sense or moral values. So it's a traumatic experience on him, the child in the car, the female. She decided to start taping, put it on Facebook Live. So that's an alarming fact right there that you need to look into. But the public won't see it that way. And anybody that's a first responder, EMT, or anybody with any medical background was like, should have sat there and filmed it while the guy is bleeding out.
Now,
so that's
Jake,
what alarmed me about the suspicious
Jake, jump in.
activity.
Jump in, Jake. Jump in, Jake.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely alarming to me, too. You know, if I was in a car and, you know, my significant other just got shot, the last damn thing I would think about is getting on Facebook and broadcasting it. To go back to, you know, the way, you know, you approach somebody on a traffic stop, you know, I get so sick of hearing the media, you know, just constantly asking, you know, making it a black thing or a white thing. You know, I've been in law enforcement for 6 years. I've worked the courts, I've worked the jail, worked the streets. Really, the only time that race comes into play is if you're describing, you know, you're giving a description of somebody. You know, if I'm walking up to a car, I'm looking at, you know, just the whole attitude of the driver. You know, I mean, you do kind of have to profile. You know, is the car, you know, fit the neighborhood? You know, is it a, you know, $70,000 car riding through the west end of Louisville with a 16-year-old driver? You know, that's gonna make you a little bit, you know, like, what the hell's going on here? Yeah, when I'm dealing with somebody, the last thing that I think of is race. You know, you got your officer safety in mind. You got, you know, your little hair on the back of your neck sticking up if something's a little on edge. I mean, we stop people all the time that have weapons. You know, there's a process to go through, and it all determines that process all goes off of the person's attitude. You know, if they're real cool and calm and stuff, you know, it's real smooth. But you know, if the guy's giving you attitude, he's real kind of sketchy, moving around a lot, like that's gonna start waving little flags around, like, hey, you know, this guy's, you know, might have something going on. It just makes me sick how they're trying to, you know, turn everybody against the police when really it's not a race issue, it's a respect issue. You know, people grow up with their parents hating the police, and, you know, it's not cool to like the police. You know, people rap about it and all that stuff, and if that's the kind of environment you grow up in, then, you know, that's what you're going to pass on to your kids. I come from a law enforcement family, so I was always taught, you know, to go to law officers for help. You know, you know, these are outstanding people in the community that serve, and if you're ever in need, this is who you go to for help. You treat them with respect. You know, yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. And that's really went away with society. Like this, I think that's the biggest thing. People don't have respect for other people.
That's something I don't understand a lot too, because I mean, we've all been there. You get, you know, you're speeding, you get pulled over, and you're like, oh hell, and you know, you get, you know, your stomach goes. I mean, just over the potential of getting a $90 speeding ticket. I mean, I get into a real, you know, puckered up state and like, hey sir, you know, you try to be as endearing as possible, and maybe you get off with a warning or something like that. You know, you're like, yes sir, no sir, you know, all this stuff just to try to get out a speeding ticket. Like from practice, Russ. Yeah, but it's like, but I mean, if you know, that's an experience just to try to, you know, hopefully get some kind of favor to not get a high speeding ticket or something. I can't imagine, you know, if, you know, I can't imagine not these people, you know, not being some kind of like respectful just to get out of the situation. All you got to do is be respectful for the next, 10 to 15 minutes and then get out of the situation. Even if let's say you get pulled over and they're got a bag of weed on them. I mean, why wouldn't you absolutely just be as polite and nice as possible to get out of that situation so you can, escape the scene without any, as little repercussions as possible? I don't understand the respect thing. It seems like people, if you did have something to hide, you'd even be more respectful than if you did, I guess.
Right. Yeah. When I stop a car, I mean, like I said, their attitude determines how things are going to go. If I walk up to the car, I remember one of the recent guys I stopped. As soon as I come up to the car, I introduce myself, and he says, "What the fuck did you pull me over for?" Well, that just determined which direction the traffic stop was going into.
Hell yeah!
I'm like, it was a simple little infraction for his tail light was out. I mean that's $150 ticket, and that's easy probable cause that we use to pull people over. To see if anything else is going on. If there's a car fitting that description of something, a hit and run or something like that. We use stuff like that all the time just to stop a car, see what's going on, or speed or anything. The common person lives paycheck to paycheck. You slap them with a $150 ticket, I mean that's going to set them back.
That's a good point.
Some guys, they go out there and they love writing tickets. I'm not one of those guys. Like, if you're courteous and respectful, and all your stuff checks out, I send you on your way with a warning, and maybe you have a little better taste in your mouth of law enforcement that day. But if I come up to your car and I'm polite and you ask me why the fuck you pulled me over, well, it's going to go a different route. You're probably going to end up spending a little money on the traffic ticket.
Yeah, Milford. What else would they be spending money on, Milford?
Probably multiple tickets.
Yeah.
Dental work. That's a joke. I'm trying to make light of it. One thing. One thing. And you knew from a political standpoint that this was like going to be. This was an opportunity seized by both. In this case, Trump and Clinton. But I'll bring up Hillary. Hillary made this
Hillary's
comment.
Hillary's probably happy right now all this happened.
Because
she escaped, the whole Benghazi thing and everything else. The heat is off of her for a little while, so she's probably happy it happened for her political career. But, Kevin, another thing I want to bring up in Chicago. Right. And it's a hop, skip, and a jump to Chicago from my house.
I wasn't trying to bring up location.
This year so far.
But go ahead.
2,100 shootings so far in Chicago this year.
Oh, it's brutal, right?
340 murders already this year in Chicago. And,
we're just
Black Lives
halfway
Matter,
through the year.
Right, is everywhere else, but how come they're not protesting in Chicago about black-on-black murders in Chicago?
Yeah.
That's what upsets me the most. They get on there, they injured a police officer last night, broke an officer's spine by throwing concrete brick on top of his head. But
I did hear that.
No one's protesting in Chicago about the black-on-black crimes. 340 people have died. Children, grandparents, people's parents. No one
and
says
that's just
nothing
halfway
about
through
that.
the year. You do the math. You're going to be So that's a good point. And because you're right. I'll say you're East Chicago. You're on the Indiana side, but you're East Chicago. But I'm going to ask you. Go ahead. No, jump it. Go ahead.
If you look at the facts by people killed by police, whites so far this year, 238 white people have been shot this year and killed by police. 123 black people and 79 Hispanics. Where's the outcry for the white people on here? I'm not a racist or anything else, but Black Lives Matter gets on TV and said, the white cops are killing all the black people. Well, that's not true.
It's not. Yeah, actually, statistically, you're right. Right.
They need to look at the facts. They should go protest in Chicago and probably in Louisville too of how many shootings.
Absolutely.
People are dying every day. Children can't even play on the street corner because they're going to get shot up. And it's a shame, but everybody wants to blame the police, about all the shootings in Chicago.
Right. Well, let me. I brought up Hillary, and this is not a Hillary plug. It's just what she said. She made the comment that she was going to set aside $1 billion for police training, additional training. Is, from your perspective, I'll start with Jake, and then I'll let Milford finish. Do you have what you need from a resource perspective, training, equipment, whatever? Do you have what you need? First, now listen to the question, what you need to do the job. Now, whatever your answer is there more that, even if it's you got what you need, is there more that can be done? Jake, go ahead.
I think I could speak for any department across the country. I mean, the resources are limited. You can always use more manpower and more training. I mean, my department does pretty well. They take really good care of us. We have good equipment. Other departments aren't as fortunate. And everybody trains different, and everybody has different scenarios that they run through and stuff like that. But there can definitely always be more. You can never train enough. I mean, you could train every day for an event like we've seen in Baton Rouge, and you still won't fully be prepared until that happens. It's just, it's just something that's part of the job. But yeah, I would definitely say that there can always be more.
What about tasers? It seems like you see tasers every now and then. In some of these situations, is it that the law enforcement just doesn't have the tasers, or that they're just not? They don't feel comfortable in using a taser to protect themselves?
There's still departments out there that don't have tasers. It's kind of getting what's the word I'm looking for? It's kind of getting to where everybody has them now, but there are still some of the I guess low budget departments, the kind of the podunk departments, so to speak, that don't have them. It's a great tool. It doesn't always work. You have somebody hyped up on certain drugs, and it doesn't affect them. And then plus it depends on what kind of clothing they're wearing too. I know the guy in Baton Rouge, they tried to tase him, but it was ineffective. And you got to have a good hit, and hope that you get a good bite on it and that it affects the person the way it's supposed to. But if it doesn't, then you got to restore the other tools that you have. And unfortunately, that's what they had to do down in Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
Seems like if they would come out with some more non-lethal technology. I mean, I don't think we're a little ways off from Star Trek setting the phasers on stun, but it seems like maybe rubber. I know they have shotguns with rubber bullets and stuff like that. That's not practical in a traffic stop, but it seems like some of this may be able to be helped with some more non-lethal means of personnel control or something like that.
Mm-hmm. There's something that we have called the force continuum. It's kind of a scale, so to speak, that you reach this level, then you use this tool. Taser for this. Maybe something that you wouldn't use a taser for. You might use a different situation. You might use OC spray or certain hands-on techniques. With Baton Rouge, they were dispatched to a call where a guy was pointing a firearm around. So if you're going to a call and there's already a gun involved, you're not going to resort to trying to, spray the guy with OC or use a shotgun with rubber bullets, because that's going to get you killed. And like I said, they still tried to tase him. They gave him ample opportunity, to turn around and cuff up, and the guy didn't. He wanted to fight, and he had a gun in his pocket, and that's what happens. If he would have turned around, it'd have been a whole different ballgame. You never would have heard about it. If he would have just complied and wouldn't have mattered what color he was. Anybody that's put in that situation and escalates a situation like that, it's going to be the same end result.
Brother Jake, are you taking care of yourself? I mean, when you go out, or you got, got that mindset right to, face any situation? Because I'll bring this up, and we're running out of time on this segment, but I do have to ask today. What was it in Michigan? And this is totally non-related to what went on, but there was a situation where the 2 bailiffs got killed in Michigan because of someone in court seized an opportunity to break free from their thing and got a hold of a gun. I mean, that's alarming in so many levels that my fear is that, in a courtroom, that guys are taking their mind off, for a split second of the moment, and someone has just made this daring, attempt to free themselves and then take a couple people out. In this case, the guy gets shot. But
yeah,
go ahead.
It was a bad situation. It's something that we train for that stuff. We run through scenarios a few times a year with situations like that. Being in a courthouse, it's just like any other job. It's your day-to-day routine. You take inmates to court and you kind of get relaxed and stuff, but you can't let your guard down. These guys, they have 24/7. They're sitting there watching you and watching your moves, and these people might not seem smart, but they're very, very intelligent, and they pay attention to little details. They know what time people do what. They know where you're going to be, what door you're coming out of. You can never let your guard down. The only thing you can do is just stay alert, and you have your tools, you have your gun, your taser, your vest, and you hope that when you walk out that door in the morning, you come back home at the end of your shift.
I know. Well, from me, and I actually Milford dropped, so I'm not sure where he's at. But from me, and I think I speak for Russ. You guys keep doing what you're doing. A lot of respect for what you do, because I get it. My family gets it. My kids get it, and my grandkids will get it. Is that there are people that are here for us, the Jakes, the Milfords, the guys in blue, that have dedicated their professional careers. Actually, it's more even their personal lives too, because you're talking hours of your life to to protecting and serving, and so a lot of props to you, my brother.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Yep. Yeah, and then at the end of the night on a weekend, we can break away from the real world and enjoy some Jake on the drums.
There you go.
Yeah, Jake,
I wasn't
thanks
able
for
to beat on the drums on the weekend, man. I'd probably stress out sometime, but
well,
yeah,
Wildwood is an endorsed band for this show, so keep doing what you're doing, brother.
As always,
we love you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Hey, take care. I'll see you soon.
All right, brother. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
That was a little heavy there, Russ.
Yeah,
but that's the real world. What those guys do, it's the real world.
Oh, absolutely. And the only thing that, of course, this is just one guy's opinion that just looks at everything that, comes in through, media outlets, but I really feel like not just in the police force, but in, probably in schools and in government and in what you got to do is you got to look for the guys that are kind of hotheads and have egos and have like orange comb overs, and you got to really kick those fuckers out. You got to find the guys that think real highly of themselves and talk shit all the time, and again, they have orange comb overs a lot of the time, and those people don't have any place in the public sphere because they're just gonna they're gonna overreact. They're gonna they're gonna say racist shit, and they're gonna say shit, talk about shit that they don't know what they're talking about. Of course, I'm just spoofing on Donald Trump, of course.
I know. Let's move away from Donald Trump because our second segment, which is a little, got to push back a little bit. But instead of talking shit, we'll be talking some smack, Russ, because we've got our girl Shannon, our lovely lady Shannon from TalkSmack Promotions, and joining us tonight, Bistro 42's own Miss Judy. I'll bring Miss Judy on because this is her first time. Juju, what's up?
Hey, how you doing, Kev?
Good. I got my buddy, my co-host Russ here too.
Hey.
Hey, ladies.
Shannon.
Hello. Hey, Judy. I'm here. I was just waiting for my time to chime in. I'm so happy Judy's on here with me, so we get to, we're going to make you a Kevin sandwich tonight.
Russ, you jealous? You are jealous, Russ. Russ, all you can do is
a little
Russ,
payback here.
I know. Hey, I'm okay. I'm okay with sandwiches. Russ, you just have to listen and watch.
We're going to make Russ dessert. You're going to be the sandwich because we're going to get you tonight.
Russ, I didn't even have to prod them. That's how we roll. No, let's get Judy. Judy, you are part of the Bistro 42 thing in Prospect, which very cool venue. Love the whole vibe, the whole ambiance there. Tell us what do you do there?
Well, I, of course, book the music, and I like to feel that I have a lot to do with the ambience and the general feel. I do bartend there, so that goes along with the ambience and just service industry and making people feel welcome whenever they come in, whether you come in once every 6 months or you come in once a day to come and see me. My general thing is making you feel good as soon as you walk in the door with music, drinks, and personality and just having fun.
Now, Shannon, you being with TalkSmack Promotions, you're always promoting music venues. What's your take on Bistro? It's got,
I'm so
give 2 thumbs up there, right?
Oh, absolutely. Actually, the coolest thing about this is that due to musicians, I had the opportunity to meet Judy, and I'd heard about her through Corey and through Shane and through several others, but I had never had the opportunity to meet her. Well, once I did, I was like, this is cool because I felt like it's just nice to meet someone that's on the same page as you, that gets it, that knows, the music, books great bands, has the atmosphere that everybody loves. She's always got a smile on her face. But the more we got to know each other as time has went on, she and I have other things very much in common too, and on a personal level with our boys. So it just goes back again to music having a tendency to bring people together in ways that you would never expect. And I feel like I've got a lifelong friend with her now. And but going back to Bistro, I love it. It's a classy place where you're comfortable, you have fun. She has quality bands there. The service is impeccable. The place is clean. I love her, and I love the Bistro because of Judy. Because Judy hires. She books the best bands there are out there, and I know she does because I've been following these bands and booking these bands and promoting these bands for a very long time. And unfortunately, I don't get to see her as often as I would like to because I'm usually somewhere else. But kudos to her because, as far as I'm concerned, she and Chris Lucian, and I'm going to throw it out there for Steve Morilla as well. These 3 people get it, and they get it the right way, and it's in all 3 different areas of Louisville, which is kind of cool too. So
that's a good point.
Judy knows I love her because I think it's awesome because for me, I'm very fortunate because I've got, South End, East End, and, been right on the county line, literally. Anyway, I just think it's pretty cool. She's got an awesome place, and I love it. And the food's great, too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you, Shan.
Yeah. I mean, how do you? There's a great soundbite there for you, Judy. You didn't have to brag on yourself.
It's phenomenal. I guess I'd have to go back to the lifelong friend thing and what we have in common. It's funny how Shannon and I at first met with Corey. One of my favorite and who I consider one of the best sound guys in Louisville. And what he does for the city is amazing. All the volunteer work he does, all the good-hearted things, and just he always goes above and beyond. So give it up for Corey. I love him to death. And, of course, Uncle Bob goes right along with him in his back pocket or whoever's in whose pocket. But those two are absolutely my favorite. But to touch base with Shannon and I, how we spoke one night, we were actually I think it was after one of your podcasts. Her and I got to shooting the breeze back and forth, and we found out we had a lot more in common than just music and friends. And so it really hit home to the both of us. Our lives have kind of really led very, very similar paths, and we're at opposite ends of the city, but really not very far from each other.
Right.
Actually,
it just gave me goosebumps because it's crazy the ties that we have. And anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt on that one, but you just don't have that happen. I mean, we bartend, we raise kids, we've got. I don't know if you mind me saying, but I've got a son that has had open heart surgery, and he's a heart baby, and even though he's 15, he's still a heart baby. So that has a lot to do with my involvement in benefits and fundraisers and things for children, because I can literally talk that talk because I've experienced it. So I know what these people go through. And then, Judy, you know yourself, and it was just another bond that brought us together, which I thought was really cool, and it was, again, due to music.
Amen for that. I would have to say, out of all the places that I've lived in the United States, and music has been my life pretty much my whole entire life, Louisville has one of the most magnificent music scenes, some of the best good-hearted musicians, people that if you need something right now, I could make 3 phone calls and, maybe less than that, and have something organized like that. People just watch out for their own, and they are just really dear-hearted people. Sean Wallace is one of my biggest go-tos. He is magnificent, phenomenal.
Yeah.
Anytime I have any kind of benefit or something that I need help with, I call him up. It could be 1 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. I swear to God, that man never sleeps. But him and his pops, the whole entire band, they're Soul Circus. They're phenomenal. They're playing down, where are they at? Norton Commons on Thursday.
All right.
I have to plug a couple other ones just on that note.
I saw them. I saw them Saturday at Diamonds. Sean's great. Sean is actually, Shannon. Whenever you hear from me at 3 in the morning, it's probably generally not right, but it's out of love. It's always out of love. But, yeah. But you're right, and Shannon will concur. When it comes to the home music scene here in town, there are a lot of brothers and sisters that on a whim, whenever anybody reaches out to them for a benefit or whatever, everyone steps up. And the whole music, I'm in love with music here. And any chance I can get out to pay respects to the bands or, do my part for this show to promote people, it's all about it. And for the record, Judy and Shannon, Greg Unthank is jealous that I get to be the sandwich, and he's just a listener tonight.
Well, tell Greg that I'll catch him soon.
Well, he's listening, so you're telling him right now. Russ, you're quiet.
Yes, sir. Oh,
you,
well,
I know you.
I was talking at the beginning, but I had my phone on mute because we live out 3 acres out here. We had a little bit of a raccoon problem still on the cat food, so I put myself on mute to chase the raccoons away. Little humorous anecdote there.
Yeah. Now, there's been a few times I've been out to Bistro, Russ, and I've said, Russ, come out and meet me out here, because it actually happens, Judy, on the other side of Bistro, what is it, Timber Ridge, that subdivision? You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, it's right behind Bistro, actually. Yes.
Actually, it's on the other side of, what is it, 22?
42?
What is it, 42? That's
42.
where the ex and my kids are. So I'm kind of out there quite often, and so any chance that when we get a chance, when I go out to eat, we'll go out to. Which, by the way, has my daughter seen you yet? Yes or no? We'll go take care of that later.
Yeah, no, she hasn't yet.
She hasn't. Damn it, Claire. Anyways, to your point, Shannon, the whole ambience, the vibe of Bistro 42. What I love about it too is that, correct me if I'm wrong, it's like a big garage door, right? That opens up.
It is, but not only is it just a big garage door, it's one of the last standing mom and pop shops in that area, and it goes right along with.
Awesome. When that door opens up and you hear the music, when I've come up to the place and that whole area is opened up, you hear the music playing. The food speaks for. I mean, that's another thing. But that whole vibe, it's just how what's the secret there, Judy, on your all success? Because you all got it going on there.
Well, really, I think the secret to our success. Let me reiterate that. But our secret to our success, and really to anybody's success, is just having a venue that has really good music consistently, and having really good staff that care about their regulars. The bartenders that work with me, we can spot our regulars as soon as they come in the door, and we know the people. We're right on it. You don't have to wait. I don't care if I'm 10 deep or what's going on in the venue. We honestly try to make it happen, and we sincerely care if it doesn't happen. I mean, we make it right, and it goes right along with being a mom and pop shop. Mm-hmm. And it's a kind of a gentle balance in that kind of stuff, but so many of us these kind of venues are being weeded out by the bigger venues, but we're going to be there for a while longer, so I hope all the people in my Prospect area and out that love some of them other bands, I support, further away venues. I take Uber. One of my favorites is the County Line. It's a $35 Uber ride out there, but I know I'm never going to stay sober, so I usually have to take an Uber out there.
Well, you know what? If you listen to this, if you listen to one of our past shows, Russ always seems to promote that I live relatively close and I have a huge sectional. Right, Russ? Russ, he's
Shannon, you got that?
Shannon's got that during text, but that's totally digressed.
Oh yeah, Kevin's is the crash pad for sure.
Now let's give some props, Miss Judy, to your daughter. Let's give a little shout out to her. She is that voice of Lauren. Good Lord, and let's give some love to Mr. Kevin Manning too. I got to see them. Yeah, I got to see them a couple of Saturdays ago at Diamonds when Wildwood was performing and Lauren was there. But that's like to have your daughter Judy, who just has a voice that's just insane, and then the Wildwoods, Kevin Manning, whatever. You have.
Sorry.
Kevin Cummings. You're right, Kevin. I was texting. Kevin Manning's another guy. He's probably listening too. So hey, cheap shout out.
Sorry.
But yeah, Kevin Cummings. We bursted Manning's bubble there. But yeah, Kevin Cummings. He's like, I mean, he has his own thing, but he does Wildwood, and you have a lot of resources. And I think the last time I was there, I think it was when Kirby's did their acoustic set. Yeah, it's like I love that place. Russ, how many times have I invited you again and you just don't join me for what is really some great entertainment? Great fun.
I'm on the injured reserve list, as you know, right now. So, but,
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been out with you a few times.
I know. And you've hit the sectional a few times too, right, Russ?
Oh yeah.
You have not been to Bistro yet, by the way.
I have not been to Bistro, and I need to get out that way for sure.
Well, we will.
I'm closer to there. Actually, I think I'm closer to there for sure than I am Hillview.
You
anyway.
are. Yeah, because you're over
I've got some pretty good stuff coming up.
Well, then while you're talking, go ahead, Judy. Brag about what you got coming up.
Bring it up.
I know this Wednesday I have Corey and Stacey King and Corey Brumbach, probably one of my favorite songwriters here in Louisville. I just love him.
Stacey, who is another Wildwood wild child.
Yes. I am a little bit of a Wildwood groupie. I love them. They're
we do.
Absolute favorite country band here in Louisville.
Yeah.
Just amazing. What they put together is awesome. Their songs are brilliant, and I really hope someday we're all going to say, hey, and then I'll be the one that's saying, hey, that's my son-in-law.
Is it that serious,
Sorry,
Judy? Is it that serious, Judy? No, you're fine with me. Hey, I'm all about a TMZ moment. Is this breaking news? Are you?
No. Oh God, they kill me. No, it's not breaking news. I just use them all the time because they're the best friends ever, and they're like two peas in a pod. I mean, shoot, they came to Bistro 42 on their first date, and I was so excited. I was like,
"Oh,
we're going to drink more vodka." I'm like, yay! Oh. So I mean, I was just so excited for them to get together, and then they just really found out that they're best friends, man. They do everything together, and their music is. I mean, he's helped her so much.
Kevin Cummings.
So many things about herself.
Yeah, Kevin Cummings right now. I'm brutally honest. He is. I'm being blunt here because he would expect me to say this. He is fucking entertaining as a front man.
Not only entertaining but extremely talented as a vocalist.
Oh, extreme. Oh yeah. He's yes. And he would prefer that I use profanity when speaking about him. I know that. That's our guy. I know.
Kevin, I've caught his show up at the
Headliners,
or whatever,
right?
down at 4th Street.
No,
down at 4th Street.
Oh,
yeah,
his show. Okay, gotcha. Okay, his show there.
Yeah, his solo show where he usually brings a saxophone guy with him, but he does some really, really neat stuff. Just when he's just on the acoustic guitar as well.
He's incredible. Yes.
Absolutely amazing. Well, anyway, on Friday, let me finish my pop on what I've got going on here. So Friday, I've got Radiotronic at Bistro 42, and then
great 80s stuff.
Oh my God!
Yes.
They are Kevin Garvey and Rachel,
Jeff Epperson, yeah.
Oh, all of them really. I mean, just unbelievable.
Well,
From the start of the
Kevin.
Show to the end of the show,
Do you know who Kevin Manning is?
Yes.
You do know. All right. So now you see where I was. There's a tie to Kevin and Radiotronic, kind of. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. But continue. What else you got?
So I've got Radiotronic at Bistro on Friday, and then I also want to give another little pop to Lauren. She's actually opening up on Friday night at Baxter's for the American Idol. His name, I have to take a breath before I try to massacre this name. It's Nick Fridini, something like that.
I'll take your word for it. I gave up on American Idol long time ago.
But it's going to be a spectacular show. She just opened up her cam down there, and it was absolutely amazing. She's getting picked up by some really cool artists, and she's doing a lot of really neat opening work and getting some of her original music out there and getting noticed for it. So big props for that.
Russ, I'm going to send you a YouTube link of Lauren doing this song called The Weed Song.
Mm-hmm.
I know exactly that song. She wrote
I know
it
you do. You
home.
know it. But yeah, it's I think I probably listen to that song maybe honestly once every 2 weeks. I have to. One, because I just dig the lyrics. Two, is that her voice is just incredible. Judy,
Thank you. She has a unique voice. I love listening to her.
How's your voice, Judy?
Well, it depends.
On?
When you catch me.
Really? No, do you throw some, can you do some tunes?
Yeah, I actually used to basically do that for a living. I sang with a few bands and toured all over the place and had a darn good time while I did it.
See, and now I'm getting somewhere. Because
I used to get her a booking agent.
No, I used to put Shannon on the spot because Shannon did the whole band thing too. On a different show, different segment. Greg Unthank says Judy sings great, so Greg is listening.
Aww.
Oh yeah, Shannon, you remember those times when I was like, what was it, during like a county line segment we did where I'd do the sing off because Russ would always end the show or end the segment singing. You know what? I think I'm on to something right now. For shits and giggles. Yeah.
Are you gonna play Name That Tune?
No, we're not gonna play Name That Tune. Well, we're gonna play Name That Tune based on the song you decide to sing.
Oh no!
I'm calling you, Judy. How much have
Judy,
you been?
No,
Judy. Listen,
Hello.
Judy. Oh, hold on, Shannon. Stop. Judy,
no.
have you had any alcohol tonight?
A small amount.
Do you have enough?
I told you it was going to be a manic Monday.
All right, you did.
Actually, I do have a song that's stuck in my head, and it's been stuck in my head all day long. Actually, for a few days.
Really? All right.
Yeah,
Will you
it's a
care
great
to? Would you sample some of that for us, please?
I don't know exactly how it's going to come out loud. I've just been singing it in my head.
No, well then sing it. Pretend you're singing in your head, but only, do it like pretend you're in the shower. Russ, you kill it in the shower,
sing in the
right?
Shower.
You don't sing.
Yeah.
Russ sings in the shower. Russ has great acoustics
in the shower. Yeah, the acoustics in my shower are just nothing short of Nashville.
His auto tune in the shower is incredible. But anyway,
okay,
Judy.
I will be thoroughly impressed if any one of you guys can name. It's actually a Louisville local artist that does this song.
All right, go for it, baby.
Hold on.
Hold on. Shannon, you're up next. Yeah.
Oh,
anyway,
Shelter from the storm. I will be your shelter from the storm.
Sounds a little tunesmithy.
Well, it's close. It doesn't have any of the horns, though.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear the horns.
It's Zach Longoria. And Gina. Oh, my God.
Is that the project? His project?
Yeah, the Zach Longoria project.
Okay.
I'm absolutely in love with Gina and Zach and that whole band. Dear Lord, I just bought the album. I bought both of them. Mm-hmm. I first caught them out live, I don't know, maybe a month and a half ago. Kevin Cummings had been telling me how awesome they were. And so it's not very often that I get to get out on a Saturday night, but whenever I hear something, whenever I get a recommendation from somebody like that says, Judy, you got to take off and go, I'm like, okay. So I did it. I was so blown away. And so I booked them for my own venue, and they did a stripped-down version. And I was just jaw-dropping all night long.
Wow.
And so I bought both their albums, and I've been listening to them in my car for the last couple of weeks, and which is very rare for me. Usually I drive in dead silence. And
the ironic part about this, the ironic part about this, Judy, is I'm sitting here in my car looking at the cover of the Zach Longoria project, and the Up, Up, and Away, Dance Till You Die, Solid Ground,
Shelter,
Special Arrangement, Heaven, Shelter. Yeah, I just got this the other day and absolutely love it. So, yeah, how ironic.
I'm addicted to Up, Up, and Away, all of them really, but Up, Up, and Away and Shelter, they're such an amazing album. And if you guys can catch them out, props to Zach. He's done a spectacular job organizing and just putting that whole band together, because it's huge. It's like a 12-piece band, full horns and background singers, and just absolutely amazing.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, kudos to him. Zach is a music trainer too, which I did not know, or vocal trainer, and he's actually working with some musicians. I won't name their names, but they've been in this music industry for a very long time in Louisville, and of course outside of Louisville. But to me, for him to be his age, as young as he is, and he's training people who are almost twice his age or close, that's a lot to be said about him. But when I was given the CD, I was told, you've got to hear this, you've got to hear it. And when I put it in, I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. But see, I love the horns. The horns are I always have liked them. So, but anyway,
I'm a sucker for horns
on that
too.
one, but I'm like right there with you. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe she just mentioned that, because I'm sitting here with it in my car right now. So
I guarantee, Shannon, if you run a red light tonight, Shannon, you'll hear a bunch of horns.
Yeah, probably so. Guarantee it. Yeah.
Well, Shannon, you got to give our Miss Judy some props. She delivered it. She gave us some vocal.
It was amazing.
Yeah. So,
no,
what you got for us?
I'm not.
Come, give me a step.
No.
Because
how many times you've done this to me? So many times. I've done it more than once. I've done it like 3 times. And
do you know why you've done it 3 times? Do you know why you've done it 3 times?
Dear.
No. Do you know why you've done it 3 times?
Because I have a hard time saying no.
No. In order for you to do it a 4th time, you would have had to do it a 3rd time, Shannon. I can't go from number 2 to 4. So you did it 3.
How much you had to drink?
I can do that, Judy. Big red. You know what? You get your Russ. I haven't heard you sing in a while. Russ, you got some vocal stuff on there? Come on, Russ.
I
know you
probably belt out some Frozen or something. I got a 5-year-old girl.
I don't give it. Show up Shannon right now, Russ.
Do it, Russ. Do it.
I'm even less prepared than normal, because at least I know I got to look something up like at the last minute when we do the county line. I don't know what.
You need to do the gin and juice thing.
Oh, do I need to do that? All right.
Go for it. I don't think Judy's heard it. Check this out, Judy and Shannon. Go ahead, Russ.
The country version of, it's by the Gourds from Snoop Doggy Dogg's Gin and Juice, but they do kind of a country version there. They go, so much drama in the LBC, it's kind of hard being Snoop D-O-double-G, but I somehow, some way, keep coming up with funky-ass shit nearly every single day. Actually, Kevin does that. Kevin Cummings does that solo on his guitar when he's down at the tavern.
See, how many plugs have we given Mr. Cummings tonight? I mean, this is like cheap entertain. Yeah, cheap plug. Ladies, God, Judy and Shannon, I knew you'd come on and kill it. And we're
I'm sorry
11,
to disappoint you tonight. I would have sang for you, but I've been singing karaoke and everything for the last couple of nights with a few other people, and you know, the tunes just aren't there lately.
Do I need to meet you at the county line Thursday night to listen to you do some karaoke?
Oh,
hey, wait! I'm off Thursday night.
Uh-oh.
Oh, you are?
Game
I'm
on.
in Nashville Friday. So.
Oh, wait, hold on, though. Lauren's at the GOAT. Lauren's playing at the GOAT.
Uh-oh.
But that's kind of on the way. What time does Chris do karaoke till?
Yes. Let's go see Lauren Thursday night, Russ.
You know,
and then what time
does
Chris do karaoke?
It's from 8 to midnight every Thursday.
From 8 to midnight.
Yeah.
I think Lauren's done it like 11.
Well, no, actually, is it just midnight? I thought he took it a little well, maybe not.
Mike Williams, God love him.
Right.
He's got the patience of a saint because he gets up there and he listens to all of us after we've had, a few drinks in us and think we can sing and we really can't carry a tune in a bucket, but he still smiles and carries on, and but sometimes, he'll stick around longer. I mean, he has stayed up until 1 o'clock before.
Yeah. He has. Russ,
so,
last
but
time I was up there.
8 to 12.
Right. Russ, last time I was up there doing karaoke, I fucking nailed some Backstreet Boys, brother.
Oh, did you?
There. Yes, I did.
Lord, I can't imagine how many shots of Jaeger it took for you to think you nailed Backstreet.
It don't matter because I did it that way. I want it that way. Yeah, I brought it. And bring your crutches, Russ. Whatever it takes to get you out, bro.
Here's the thing. I love the food at the GOAT, and, I'm sure I would love the food at Bistro 42. And I just me and Mallory started a 10-day juice cleanse today. We're doing a juice-only 10-day cleanse. And right now I just walked past a bottle of syrup and thought about chugging it. I'm so it takes about 3 days. 3 days to get your body acclimated to the juice. You're actually getting a lot more nutrients with it, but your body still wants to chow down on some stuff until about day 4.
From syrup or juice?
From well, syrup's got its own thing going on, but
You know what, Russ? For the record, it's not. It will be a good night. The first chance you can get to hang out with Miss Judy and Shannon.
I'm thinking next week. I got a lot of free time next week, so whatever's coming up next Thursday, Friday, something like that.
Russ, when is the next time she goes out of town? In case she's listening.
Oh God.
I have Old School the following Friday. I mean, that's great.
Oh, Old School band?
Yep. Not this Friday.
Old School's
Friday,
amazing.
Yeah,
Rob Marston and Andy Mills.
Yeah, another horn band.
Oh, yes.
We're just going to go. Shannon, meet us out at Bistro, please, sometime soon.
You know what? Rob Marston and I go way back, like early 90s, when he used to be in a band called Quick Draw, and then he also played at the Radisson Hotel with Marilyn Kington and Randy Myers, and they had Bob Ramsey.
Did you all go on a date at Toy Tiger? Everybody goes.
No. But Rob Marston used to have hair down to the mid part of his waist, and
wow.
Talk about a talented musician now. I'm telling you what, he is
fabulous.
They all are, but Rob is unbelievable, as is Andy Mill, too. I mean, I'm so fortunate to know these guys.
All of them guys.
Oh, Derek Siebert, yeah. Oh, my gosh, Derek's awesome. Derek used to play with Caribou and played with the Fanatics, and he's played with a lot of them.
He always plays with Tony and the Tan Lines. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
They're amazing boys to have in your venue.
Tony and the Tan Lines.
I love Tony and the Tan Lines. Oh, my God.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Judy and Shannon, were you all Be honest. Were you all like
I think
groupies
we're related.
back in the day?
We just don't know.
I think we are too. I think you're right.
Were you all groupies? You know,
I'm
here's a
never
quick.
been a groupie.
Let's do this real quick. We haven't, Shannon. While we have Judy on the line, I do this thing called Round of Shots, where it's just some fun, quick Q&A. Judy, you haven't experienced this. Play along with me. Right now, Judy, on your iPod or music media, what would be the current song playing?
Probably Queen, Killer Queen, or Led Zeppelin right now. I'd have to pull it up to see what is the last one I played.
Oh,
She's a killer.
Do you want me to actually pull it up?
Do it, girl. We only have nothing but time.
Don't you have somebody up next?
What was it?
Oh, it's actually Corey Brumback. I was wrong.
Another cheap plug. Why don't I tell you what, Judy? Why don't you just lie and say it's a Kevin Cummings song?
That's funny. No, it's funny.
All right. What was your
first? I tried to lie, but you. Okay, go.
That's all right. It's okay. You can lie to me like after 3 a.m., but before 5.
I
Those
did
are the
lie
only
to you
2
the other
hours.
night, by the way. Remember?
Did. Good Lord. See, Shannon wants to be the only one who thinks she lies from 3 to 5. So,
Oh, whatever.
I'm like 1 a.m. after.
Love you, Shannon. First concert that you attended, Judy?
It was REO Speedwagon, and, the Violent Femmes.
Violent Femmes. Oh, wow.
Why can't I kiss? Just one puff.
Yep. And they were with the B-52s. I forgot about that one. Hold on. Yeah.
Love Shack.
Russ.
Love Shack. Love Shaquille O'Neal. All right, Judy, what was the last picture you took with your phone? Be honest, because this is late night radio, and sexy is good.
The last picture I took with my phone was of myself, Noah, and my little puppy dog named Derby.
Oh,
Derby? Really? Derby?
Well, I know.
How
my
cool.
daughter said, everybody named their dog Derby here.
No, I've never heard that. That's pretty cool.
I like it. I think it's neat.
I do, yeah. What would be a Judy perfect pizza topping?
I would prefer no pizza. But actually, if I had to do pizza, I don't mean to pop my own restaurant, but my pizzas are awesome. But I'm not a pizza kind of girl.
What?
Mushrooms,
Can you
if I had to pick one.
You know, it's funny that you're not a pizza kind of girl because this is all right. That was a question, but I would. This is like a. I'm digressing type of question.
Sometimes pizza happens.
Sometimes pizza happens, but the other thing too, I wouldn't have throw this. I was going to share this with Russ, but I take it back. I was going to share this with whoever was on the last segment, and I think it's going to be Judy and Shannon, though, because our last segment, the guest has not called in, so I don't think she can make it. I saw a article on how women sometimes fake orgasms to end coercive sex. Women, Shannon, Judy, please tell me this is true. When you all don't fake it. It's real, right?
No, I'll just nicely say that you're good. You can go to sleep.
You're good. I love it.
Good answer, Judy.
What about you, Shannon? What's your answer?
I'm just gonna ditto.
You're gonna nod.
Judy on this
You're gonna nod your head.
Nod.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Judy, what's your favorite phone app?
My favorite phone app would have to be Pinterest. I'm sorry.
Pokemon Go.
I love
Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go.
No, Pinterest.
I don't even know what that is, but everybody's going crazy over it.
It's a consummate girl app, Russ. It really is.
I
Judy,
did try it
humor,
out
Russ.
to see what.
Define the app.
Now go ahead.
define
it. I tried it out last night. Well, it took me actually over an hour to figure it out because I'm like, why the hell is this thing not working? You have to you download it, and then you have to walk around wherever you're at, which is completely dangerous because you're looking at your phone, and then all of a sudden these things pop up, Pokemon pop up, which back in the day whenever Pokemon was actually cool, I conquered all the Pokemon.
You know what? That whole Pokemon thing, who in the fuck is doing that over 13 years old right now? Judy, if you say you are.
No,
Judy, I will
disconnect
this call right now if you say you're doing it.
No, I just tried it out last night. I said, this is stupid. I caught one Pokemon, and I hung it up. I was like, somebody's going to die during this app.
Yeah, right. I'm not even going to start it. I'm not even going to start it because I don't. You know what? I need to go to a support group from watching. You know when you watch one video on Facebook and then there's like 15 below it, and I get stuck on about number 5, and I'm like, what in the hell am I doing? I'm watching fucking Facebook videos about nonsense, and I get stuck in a loop. I mean, it's like I really need it. The first thing that I've been uncontrollably addicted to in my life, save for porn and masturbation.
What's your name again?
What's his
What's
name?
that?
She said, "What's your name again?" Judy nailed it. Which is didn't miss a beat. She gets it. This is what the show's all about. All right, Judy, if you could go anywhere in the past in a time machine, where would you go? Anywhere. If you would you go help Jesus being crucified? Would you go hang out with Barney and Fred Flintstone? What would you do?
Well, there's a couple things that I would really like to do, but just to keep it light, I would go right back to Woodstock. I would separate the stage, and I would plop my rear end right down there, and I'd watch the damn show, and I would not move for days.
You got enough rear end to last that long?
I do.
Okay. You say so?
I'll sit right there with you, Judy. We'll be just fine.
I'll hold you a spot, girl.
All right.
All right. That was my 6 questions. I've got a 7th question from someone who's calling in and it wants to ask a 7th round of shot question. Caller, what would be your question for Judy right now?
Yeah, I'd like this to be for Judy and Shannon. What drummer would make your favorite drummer's sandwich? Go, please.
Well, I would, of course, have to pop Greg Unthank.
Of course it's Greg Unthank.
Ding, ding. That is the correct answer.
Yes, of course
the correct answer. Greg Unthank in the house. What's up, Greg?
Hey, I started to say what drummer would make your largest sandwich, but I went with the drummer thing.
Yeah. Greg Unthank making an appearance.
Yeah.
I would have went with the guy from Def Leppard because he would have had a harder time defending himself. He's got the one on.
He can always hold
Russ.
off.
That is true.
That's mean, Russ.
Hey,
mean.
Oh man.
Greg, you've been listening tonight. What's your take on Judy and Shannon on the show tonight?
Oh, I love them both. They know this.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I always get nice hugs from them both. They always treat Judy at Bistro always treats everybody so good, and it's always cool to play at Bistro, and man, I love them both. Know them both well.
Check this out. Saturday night, Greg and I do a Wednesday night show, which by the show name is called Shooting Stars, where we strictly promote local music. And we've done a great job on getting some local talent on. Lauren's been on. I can't get Kevin Cummings to return my calls. Well, actually, he has returned my calls. He just timing wise, but again, we're gonna keep just boning Kevin Cummings tonight. He's like bending over backwards, taking it, for the team tonight. But and we love Kevin Cummings. But our show Wednesday night, Greg, man, we've had some great guests. And then Greg and I said, this past week, Sean Wallace was on the show, and Jenny Carr. You love Jenny, Shannon. They were on the show.
Yes, Jenny's my girl.
Greg and I said, what we try to do is we want to hook up and kind of do the show thing. So Friday night or Saturday night, Greg and I went to Diamonds to see Soul Circus. And, of course, we get there 5 minutes into us getting there. Sean is calling Greg to come up and play with the band. So I've lost my beer buddy 5 minutes into being there for the next 15 minutes, Greg. And then Greg comes back sweating like crazy. I've got to get to air conditioning because it was outside.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And then we hung out there, and then we wound up at TK's. And there's video. Go to my Facebook page where Greg is up there, of course, Kirby's Dreamland. They get him up there. He's playing some songs. There's some great video of Greg up there doing it. But that's what I have I'm so in tune with the music scene because like with Wednesday's show, now with like tonight's show, I got Russ. Russ is my go-to guy when it comes to, controversy. When it comes to
pissing people off, I'm the go-to guy.
Pissing people off. He does that. And we can talk about any and everything. Now Wednesday night it is local music, and I've got my brother Greg with me, and we bring on local talent. And again, Lauren's been on. And then we went out, and when I'm sitting there watching Greg, man, just both venues, he's just fucking killing it on drums, playing with these bands. And Greg, I know you love the attention, but
actually, man, I don't know how to take it sometimes. Honestly, I try to be a modest guy, and yeah. I mean, I'm just doing what I've done, and yeah, I just like going out, and when I do go out, I don't get out much. I don't get out to see bands much because if I'm not playing, I'm kind of a homebody, with the fam and all that kind of stuff. But when I do go out,
you went out Saturday night, and guess who we ran into? Your daughter.
My daughter, that's right, and I didn't even know she was out.
Family event.
Erica, yeah. Shannon knows Erica.
Yeah. Yes, I do.
Yeah, it was TK's. Not to outshine Bistros tonight, but we had a good time at TK's. And Greg was just nailing it. And but you know what? Let's plan a night where we can just make a mess at Bistro 42's for the whole night.
Man, I want to go to Bistro and take advantage of some of the food.
Can I make one comment on?
Sorry?
What?
That Judy?
I just want to say how fabulous of a drummer you are. You are always, I would call you an in-the-pocket drummer. Always, you very rarely overplay. You're just great,
thank you.
Solid, and a fantastic drummer. So
wow, I appreciate that.
Always, I always enjoy whenever you show up, and I'm like, yay!
Well, thank you. That's what I hang my hat on. I'm not a show-off. I just try to stay in the pocket, man. It's got me work. It's got me jobs. So that's what guys want. They want somebody.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. And again, this is we're kind of like just shooting the shit now, but
yeah.
We know what Judy's got going on at Bistro's. We know what Shannon's doing with TalkSmack, which is fucking incredible how she, handles bands. And actually I had to, Greg, the little ordeal that I'm dealing with as far as trying to decide on doing
Yeah.
I shared that with Shannon, and she gave me her advice, and
I was going to say you should have shared that with her.
I know, yeah. And Shannon, there's when it comes to the whole music thing, I am, because last night, it was just I was tired last night, but our guys, Stephen Clark, Billy Masterson with the Ass Hollers, I love those guys. They had literally a 30-minute benefit at the 3rd Street Dive, and I went there to see the whole 30 minutes, just went in and out and hung out with them. Because it's, now I feel like that's kind of what my show is. I'm connecting with you guys. I want to interact, and I want to promote. And, what Judy's doing at Bistro, Shannon's doing with TalkSmack, Greg and your bands, and, honestly, what Russ and what our show is doing, there's so much local talent, local music here. Anytime that we can do something to just spread it is awesome. The guys, Jake, actually, if did you all hear Jake Badger was on at the first segment? I don't know, Judy, if you all heard. Jake was on the first segment. Not as a musician, as a law enforcement guy, because we did a heavy show as far as the world drama, the U.S., the shit that was going on. So, but these guys are like, Greg, I think from me and my sincerity, you guys are like, I love you guys. I mean, the male, females. I mean, we had Jenny Carr, Christine Devereaux. I mean, we just have them on, and just I'm so in love.
Yeah, and I wanted to say, man, mad respect to Jake for what he does, and your cousin
let's
as
give
well.
Props to them.
Yeah, man, because things are different right now, and and you gotta keep them in mind, and you keep them in your prayers and your thoughts, because and y'all touched upon a lot of it. The media kind of forces things down your throat. Social media kind of forces things down your throat, and they're the ones that have to deal with it ultimately. And they're people, they're normal people, and they're out there to serve and protect. And people's got that twisted. So
they do.
Props to them.
You know what? You're right. It is twisted because, and Greg, you know this because you've been in the music industry long enough, but there are a lot of law enforcement officers and correction officers and sheriffs and that are musicians as well. And fortunately for me, I have been involved on both sides of the fence because I do a lot of work. And Kevin, I don't even know if you know this or not, but for 17 years, I've worked very closely with a lot of the law enforcement divisions and with Supporting Heroes, Metro, I mean, all of them. So I've been on both sides of these fences, and music has been a huge release for these guys because they're out there beating the streets. And what people don't realize, they make these jokes, about the cops going and getting their donuts and their free food and all this stuff. But when reality hits, when everybody's running out, they're the ones that are running in. And people seem to forget that. And, but, kudos to these guys because they go out, they do this job, they see things that we would never dream of seeing, and then they turn around, they jump on stage, and, they're singing. That's their release also to try to have a little bit of a normal life too. So I have the utmost respect for these guys because being able to turn off and on, it's hard. I mean, I've done a few ride-alongs with some of these guys, and, if you're a driver and you get pulled over for speeding, that's one thing. But if you put yourself in a police car and you do a ride-along and you watch when they have to pull a car over, the first time I rode along with this, I was like, oh, my God, now I get it because, they get out of that car, they walk up to the car, and they're hoping, they're going to get a driver's license. And within seconds, somebody could pull a gun out and just blow their head off. And I just have the utmost respect for these guys because it's not an easy job. And anyway, again, it's another thing that I have a lot of passion for because, anyway, as I said, when everybody's running out due to shootings and bomb threats and all of the above, they are the ones who are running in to protect. So people need to remember that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Jake made that point. He said, he grew up with his family being in law enforcement, and he said, he was always taught that the police go to the police for help.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And during the interview, I just thought, on Facebook, I've seen certain things where people would they'd get pulled over, and then they pull out their cell phone, start videoing, and then they would say things to the police or disagree with the police or be uncooperative with the police, just trying to get a reaction so they can put it on Facebook or get them in some kind of hot water with it being on video. That's
right.
That's not the way you do it.
No, and that's
ignorant.
funny that you brought. Yeah, well, that's funny you brought that up not long ago, and it struck a nerve with me, and I made this big blast of a Facebook post, and then I went back and deleted it because I try to stay so positive about my things I do put out there, but there was the guys who got pulled over, and they said that the officer got used vulgar language or something while they were listening to music that the words were 10 times worse than what they accused the officer of saying because the music was playing in the video. And I'm like, you have to be kidding me. Anyway, sorry.
Check this out. Check this out, because as dysfunctional as tonight has been, Russ, first of all, Russ, are you still on?
Yes, sir.
Russ, stay with me a couple more minutes.
Anymore.
Yes, Russ, me a couple more minutes. Judy, are you still there?
I am still there.
I know, Judy.
Shannon right now.
Shannon's on. Greg's on. I have to bring on, last but not least, our last guest of the night, Elizabeth Myers, who is the editor-in-chief of Louisville.com, who is also the food writer, and she goes out and eats food for Louisville Noms. Free food at that.
Well, not always free, and I actually have to amend you. I turned in my notice at .com a month ago.
Oh, really? Uh-oh.
Yeah. So
are you coming to work for shooting from the lip and I don't know about it?
You can't afford me.
Think it's going to hurt.
No. Well, I was working with Louisville Magazine and Louisville.com, and it was wonderful, and, no bad feelings whatsoever. It was a wonderful position, and I learned a lot. But about a month ago, Creation Gardens came to me. They're a gourmet food supply company, and they were based in Louisville. Yeah. So they supply a lot of the best restaurants here and a lot of the best restaurants in Nashville and Cincinnati, and they needed somebody on their marketing team, and it was the next step. So I've been doing that. This is like my week anniversary at Creation.
Oh, wow. Now, Elizabeth, I've just to enlighten you who you got on the show tonight, because it's just not you. Besides Russ, I've got Judy, who is part of Bistro 42 in Prospect. I have Shannon, who is part of TalkSmack Promotions, which is a promotion company that likes to talk smack. And I have my favorite childhood drummer that I met in elementary school with me, Greg. So there's like 6 of us on tonight. So Elizabeth, you're on the spot. Do you have what good things do you have to say about Bistro 42?
I've never been.
What?
I've never been. I don't think so. Let me Google it real quick. No, is it out in Prospect?
In Prospect?
Yeah. Let's see.
Judy, that's kind of is that blasphemy to you, Judy?
I've never visited.
No, not at all, because if she had been there, she would remember.
I would totally.
Yeah. Oh,
that was a great answer, because you're absolutely
great
right.
answer.
How long have you guys been open?
But then again, Russ and I will admit, Russ, you and I will admit, chicks have thrown that line at us, and we've not always remembered either, right, Russ?
Well, then,
true.
Kevin, maybe you shouldn't drink so much.
You do.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
Now, wait a minute. It's
It has an effect.
Yeah, it has an effect. Now, Elizabeth, how many bistros are in the area?
I mean, a lot. Bistros are pretty common.
Judy, are all these bistros affiliated, or is it what?
No,
What's the story?
No, it's like a word like restaurant.
Yeah, bistro is an Italian word for like
cafe in the
cafe.
world is associated.
You know, I don't speak Italian, Russ, so what are you throwing that in my face for?
Well, I mean, it's like, how many cafes are there? Are there any cafes around? You know.
Okay.
No, they're not. They're not related.
Okay, but why is it, Judy? Why is it Bistro 42? Because you're not Bistro 41?
Well, no, we're located on Highway 42.
You're on Highway 42.
Oh, you're playing the perfect 42 card on me. All right, good.
Next to Kroger 42.
Actually, the family is all Italian. It's like I said, one of the last mom and pop shops in this area.
Really?
Right.
Okay, so when I go, what should I get?
One of my favorite things are anything from the fried green tomatoes to the spaghetti and meatballs to the pita cheeses. They're amazing.
Yeah. Nice.
And then you'll have everything from Mama coming out of the kitchen and greeting you. She's amazing. and Pops, I mean, it's literally a mom and pop shop. The mom and pops, they come out and they talk to everybody, and you know, they're an elderly couple and they're absolutely amazing. And Linda and her husband, it's a family owned and operated business, and they are a fantastic family to work for. I'm honored to be there. I love them all, so I consider them my family.
Oh, that's great. What part of Italy are they from?
Excuse me?
What part of Italy are they from?
I'm actually not sure on that.
We'll say Florence.
Don't you think that's a little reductionist?
Yeah, I'm actually not. I'm not sure.
I'm not an expert on Italian politics, but I'm pretty sure they don't like to be mistaken for the other half of the country.
Russ is an expert on everything, right, Russ?
That's just the Sicilians. Yeah, no, the Sicilians get real pissed off if you call them the wrong one. But Florence is pretty. I mean, we got about a 7 out of 10 shot of being right with Florence, somewhere near Florence.
Here we are. Listen to this. This, you know what? We had Russ. Let's recap tonight's show because we're the host of the show and I want to do it. We had a very solid first segment on Jake Badger, Milford Hale. We talked law enforcement, what's going on in today's society for the first half, and then Miss Judy and Shannon came on representing Bistro 42, TalkSmack Promotions. Elizabeth, who was supposed to be on about 11, decided that she couldn't be on at 11 and crashes the party after 11.
Why don't you tell them why?
Well, no, why don't you tell them why?
I'll tell them why. My husband is in the military. He's
Your
away at a training exercise.
you're playing the military card.
He's going to be gone for 3 weeks, and I don't know how long he's going to have his phone. And so he called me.
Oh.
And so I'm not about to miss that phone call.
Is he really going to be gone for really going to be gone for that?
Oh yeah, he really is going to be gone for like 3 weeks.
Oh, well then props to Nathan for doing his service to us. Okay,
yeah, he's teaching a financial security. He's teaching like a financial class to people.
All right, so I'm false advertising you with Louisville.com, right?
So Creation Gardens now. I do still, of course,
I'm
still a writer that doesn't just leave. Louisville Noms is still running. I'll still occasionally freelance, I think. But
so Creation Gardens. All right, I'm officially liking Creation Gardens. Shall I unlike Louisville.com?
No,
probably.
Like them.
Why not?
They put out great content.
Why?
They're great local media outlets.
They elected not to put my podcast on their show, so I really don't have any use for them.
They just started their own podcast.
I don't care. It's a quid pro quo thing. If you heard my podcast, have you heard me and Russ? Our shows on Monday nights are fucking killer. I mean, why are you guys on here tonight? Because we want you to be part of the party, right?
I've had so much fun on your podcast, by the way.
Judy, I love you. I love Judy. Russ, I love you too. Russ is limping around his living room right now. Russ, are you okay?
This is true.
It's true. And we got a fucking great a local drummer, 30-year plus drummer on the phone, Greg Unthank. We have the lovely Shannon Moert with TalkSmack Promotions, who was a roadie, not a roadie, I'm not a roadie, a groupie at Toy Tiger. You're a groupie at Toy Tiger.
I'm going to stop you right there, okay? Because here's the deal.
You need to be punched,
I hate being called groupie, and I'm going to call you out on this one now because you're going to piss me off. Nothing
Go, Shannon.
wrong
Go.
with a groupie, all right? Because there's a big difference between a groupie and being family, and those guys are my family.
They're family.
Those are the
You're
guys
right.
that I can pick up the phone and call, and they are there for me before some of my own blood is actually there for me. So, groupie, family.
Okay, all right, not groupie. Let me.
Won't do that no more, will you, buddy?
Oh, I'm not
You're
going
in big
to
trouble
no
now, Kevin.
I am in big trouble. Shannon, will you text me at 3 a.m. or do I need to text you to say text me at 3 a.m.?
Kevin, there's a difference between my text and your text.
All right, love you too. Love you too. All right, Elizabeth Myers, who is part of the Louisville Noms. She does the food writer, the critic thing. What's the thing that you've critiqued lately? No, better yet. No, actually, listen, I'm gonna call your bluff. When are you gonna get out to Bistro 42?
I am not sure. I just started this new
No,
job.
that's not an acceptable answer. On this show, it's not an acceptable answer. Come on.
Tell you what, let me get out my planner.
Elizabeth and Judy, you two connect on Facebook. We need to make this event happen because I want it videotaped and I want it to be part of my show because unlike Russ,
I've got a question.
Does that mean you're paying for it?
Russ is the exhibitionist. I'm the voyeur. I like to watch this shit. Right, Russ?
Now, I have a question.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Greg.
Now, this young lady out here, she's a food critic. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't catch the introduction. But what would one need to do to be a food critic? Because I think that I would fit that category really well.
Okay.
I don't know, but that's why I'm asking because I could do that.
You could do that.
Well, people like to call you. Okay, so I don't really consider myself a critic. I really just more consider myself a writer and an eater. Pretty early on.
I definitely could do that. Yeah.
Pretty early on in my career, I discovered that what I actually thought about a place didn't make that much difference. It was really more the story of a place that people were interested in hearing. So that's kind of what I try to tell when I write about bars or, restaurants or chefs or anything really. Is I'm very interested in telling a story. But, of course, I'm also very interested in food. I'm a super taster, so I have, a bunch more taste buds than a normal person. I don't eat sugar normally, so I think that makes me taste things better because my palate is not deadened by the corn syrup that everybody else is eating all the time.
Oh, my God.
That's interesting.
I also think that there's a certain amount of refining that goes on. After you've been writing about food for a while and sort of in the world for a while, you start to know what certain things taste like, and because you know it, you're better able to pick it out. So you are better able to appreciate nuanced things. So, the longer you've been doing it, the more likely you are to like something that's really bitter or different or strange because it's ringing a bell for you that it's not ringing for anybody else. So it's really a development of your own personal taste and like an interest in education.
Oh.
Like I've kept up a lot of, education about food. I know a lot about food locally. I constantly stay up on things. And I think that's what you really have to do. You have to be committed to being plugged into a community.
Well, I have a flippant idea, Elizabeth. We're going to pin you down to come to Bistro 42's. When I am out there, Judy's out there, Shannon's out there, Greg's out there, Russ is out there. We're going to have a little partay.
Oh, yeah.
I can tell you this. I can tell you how to become a super smeller. You just go on one of these 10-day juice cleanses. You start smelling. You start smelling food in the kitchen that you couldn't even believe was there.
I know that juice cleanses are bullshit.
I thought I was on mute.
Well, that's except for they're not,
exactly.
because
you know what?
You got some kind of ailment that they can really start kind of detox you a little bit.
Here we go.
That is ridiculous. I mean, I will fight about this all night long. That is ridiculous.
All night.
There is no science to back it up.
All right.
Well,
here's what we got.
You know what, Kevin? That sounds like a show.
Check this out. I'm down to less than a minute of live time. We will have to do all this over again, but let's give props. Miss Judy, Bistro 42, Shannon Moert, TalkSmack Promotions, Elizabeth Myers, who is Louisville Noms, food writer, not part of the bad guys at Louisville.com. I know you didn't.
They're not bad.
Yeah, I know. Greg Unthank, my brother on Wednesday night, my Monday night co-host, Russ Hinkle. We had some fun tonight. Everybody, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Let's do it again soon at Bistro 42, where Judy can just serve us all night. Let's do it.
I can't wait to go back. The food's awesome. Judy makes that place. I mean,
Bistro
I'm just going
42.
to throw that out there. Judy is what makes Bistro. It is what it is.
Elizabeth, get your big girl panties on. We're going to go out to Bistro 42's for some review and stuff. All right, baby.
Yeah.
Hello? You're
I'm
going
here.
with me. Say right. Say yes, Kevin. We'll go to Bistro 42. Say it. Say it.
I don't know. I don't commit to things when pressed.
Anyways, Russ, I know you're still on. What a killer show we had tonight. We had Jake Badger, Milford Hale with Indiana law enforcement, Judy, Shannon, Elizabeth, Greg Unthank. Let me also promote County Line gigs this coming weekend. July 15th, the Woodburn Brothers. July 16th, Dustin Collins at the County Line. Anybody want to? Anybody want to? Judy, what is your gig stuff for this weekend? Real quick.
On Wednesday night, I have, of course, I know I was trying to be silent. I have Corey and Stacy. Of course, I said that earlier. Corey and Stacy Brumback, Stacy King, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to turn her into Stassi by the end of the night. It's a really big goal in my life, but it's one of my favorite things. And, of course, Corey, he's fabulous, songwriter. And then Thursday night, I have nothing, but there's a whole lot of stuff going on in the city. We have replays.
Are you there Friday? Are you there Thursday night, Judy?
No, I am not. Unfortunately, most of the time, whenever there's no live music at my venue, I am not there.
I just need to know when I need to send my daughter up to see you.
Okay, so you can send her on Wednesday night. Of course, if she would like to come prepared to work, she should come at least we'll disclose that later. Yeah. So I'll be there on Wednesday night for Corey and Stacy, and then Friday night I'll be there for Radiotronic. And then next week, I have Chase Skinner on Wednesday night.
Oh, yeah.
He's one of my
Very
favorites and one of our fabulous people in the city that always gives back and is a great little.
Absolutely.
And then I have Old School on Friday next week. So
cool. Judy, you really got a lot of great music there, and I mean seriously, and Shannon, correct me if I'm wrong, when you compare what Bistro 42 is happening, on the daily, weekly, weekend scene, they got it going on. I mean, right?
Oh, I totally agree with you. Absolutely.
Yeah.
County Line and Bistro are two totally different types of venues, but the awesome part about it is that they have a lot of the same musicians.
Right.
And it just depends on what you're in the mood for. If you want to sit down and eat and, listen to some awesome music, Bistro is the place to go and get up and dance.
They don't have chicken wire at
Line.
Bistro, do they, Kevin?
What don't they have?
Chicken wire. They don't have the chicken wire in front of the stage at Bistro like they do at County Line, do they?
They don't have it at County Line, Russ. Stop. You're talking about like road. He's talking Roadhouse. Like yeah.
That's our ongoing.
It is the ongoing thing. Yeah, it's the ongoing thing.
I had one of those moments at Bistro, and it was not very good.
Really? Wow. Now, Elizabeth, are you gonna what are we gonna do to get you to get your little skinny ass to Bistro 42? Well, it's not skinny. It's not skinny. It's curvy, but it's a nice ass. But what are you gonna do because when you go there, I want to be there to see you do this too. And Judy, let's get you to Bistro 42, Elizabeth.
It really don't sound like she wants to.
Why? Why do you not want to, Judy? Or
oh no, I totally want to go. I'm just not sure I want to be filmed doing it.
You don't want to be what?
I'm not sure I want to be filmed doing it.
Stoned?
Filmed. I don't want to be filmed doing it.
Oh, filmed. I'm not going to film you. We're not going to film you.
Tell her, Kevin. What did you tell her about your
film her? I don't film. I'm an audio podcast. It's audio, not video. If anything she has to worry about is
recorded while I eat.
You're not going to be recorded. You might want to check your drinks for roofies or anything, but that's about it because that's a Russ thing.
That's comforting.
That's comforting. Seriously. Elizabeth,
how about I put this into a woman's word for you, Kevin?
Listen, I am brokering the deal. I'm going to pull a type of organization. Yeah, where Elizabeth, you'll join us at Bistro 42. I will be there. We'll all have a little gathering. It will be legit.
Or in a woman's words, Elizabeth, if you'd like to have a girls' night to go and listen to great music and great service in a great atmosphere, in a comfortable setting with people you can trust and have a great time, Judy and I will be there to meet you if you'd like to join us.
That sounds great.
Yeah. Elizabeth, why don't you just go flip and friend request them? How about that? I thought we were tight, Elizabeth. I'm going to be there no matter what. I won't film, but I think you've never been there. I want to see what it's like for you to be there.
For me to experience a new restaurant.
Exactly.
I hate to break it to you, but this is not my first time around the block.
Don't matter, but it's my block. In my block, my rules. So you just deal with it, Elizabeth. All right, I think we're all on the same page here. I don't know whatever that page is, but it's getting late. We're past midnight. Some of us have day jobs, like me. Elizabeth, do you have a day job?
Yeah, I am a marketing associate at Creation Gardens. So I work all day today and I'll work all day tomorrow.
Why didn't you tell me to stop promoting Louisville.com then?
I didn't tell you to stop promoting Louisville.com.
No, you did not. You did not. I kept doing it.
I wouldn't. I still love Louisville.com. I still believe in everything that they're doing there.
But you're not a part of it. It looks like false advertising. Anyway.
False advertisement. I know on my Facebook that I was leaving.
Russ, are you still there?
Surprisingly, yes.
Russ, surprisingly. Got my boy Russ. It's 12:08. Judy, you still there?
I am totally still here.
I know.
Well, I actually have to run because I do have to get up in the morning. But
everyone's got to get up.
Really
Everyone's gonna say good night. All right, guys. Judy, for
I
Judy.
don't have to get up.
All right, Judy, you can stay on. Shannon.
No, I'm kidding.
Yes.
Yeah, I love you, Shannon.
I love you too.
I know, that's my girl. Elizabeth, go enjoy your night. Thanks for hanging out with us. We're going to get you on at Bistro. We're going to get you to be part of the clique so you can, like, Elizabeth. You ready to jump in our world now, Elizabeth? Since you're not on Louisville.com, this other site you're on, what's that site again?
It's not
Hello?
a site.
What is it?
I'm here. It's not a site.
I know you're here.
It is a food supply company for restaurants called Creation Gardens.
You need to. Do you hear this podcast tonight? Everybody is going to start in short time putting out the highest bid to get my podcast on their website. I think.
Oh, yeah?
Maybe. I don't know. Russ, I'm counting on you, buddy. And I'm counting on Miss Judy. I'm counting on Shannon. I'm counting on the Elizabeth of the world. I think I'm rambling now. All right, it's time. It's time to shut it down. Judy, love you. Thanks for hanging out with us, Shannon. What is it? 12:10. I'll text you at 3 a.m. Elizabeth, I can't text you at 3 a.m. because you're married. Russ, I'll text you at 3 a.m. because your wife is okay with me texting you at 3 a.m. And I know, love you guys.
It's just Kevin.
It is just Kevin. It's the fucking Kevin show on Monday night. Thanks so much for everyone hanging with me. Russ, man, we had a fucking heavy show tonight, right?
Yeah. I mean, you carried most of the load, but yeah,
we ended it with all these lovely ladies.
At no time were any animals or people hurt during this presentation of Shooting from the Lip.